Hi, my name is Matt Otto, and I'm a therapist and partner at Crossroads Psychological Associates in Columbia, Maryland. This video today is going to run through how I've set up my home office to do teletherapy so that hopefully other therapists can watch, learn some of the tricks that I've used, and quickly get their home space up and running to do teletherapy, especially right now during this coronavirus pandemic. We can get our clients' needs met as efficiently and quickly as possible. This video is not meant to talk about the legal and ethical considerations that go with teletherapy, and you really should check with your state's laws and professional codes about that. It's also not meant as a technical how-to with how to do the online program portion of teletherapy, and you should check with your business manager or IT support or whoever takes care of that for you in your practice to get more information about that. This is more about the practical, how do I set up my space? So let me run through a brief version of what I have here and what's important, and then we're going to start to break it down. So what I have in my space is I have my router and my modem. I have my computer. I have my tablet. I have a pair of wireless earbuds. And of course, I have my coffee. Now, the first thing I did in trying to create the space is decide where I wanted to set up. It's really important that I made sure I found a place that I wasn't going to have a whole lot of distractions and that my kids weren't going to be able to hear what I'm saying or what's going on in session. Right? So, fortunately, I do have this nice room towards the front of my house where we've set up a desk. And the kids are largely going to be in the back of the house doing school or whatever they're going to be doing over the next couple weeks. And we'll be largely away from each other. But I did start using the wireless earbuds during session just to double check to make sure they can't hear what's going on. I'll get into more of that later. So I found a quiet place, a nice space, something that if my clients see, hopefully they will feel comfortable with. But the other thing I did when I set up the room was I checked, I did a test run with the video just to make sure things looked good, things were in order. There were two things that I noticed when I did that. One, some of my friends for my birthday recently were nice enough to buy me some nice alcohol, which was sitting towards the back of the room. Had to move that. So check your surroundings. Don't just look at the way you are presented in the screen. Look at the surroundings to make sure that you can move things that you need to. Right? The second thing I noticed was in this room, I've got a lot of light on one side and not a lot of light on the other. And so when I set up, half of my face was really light and the other half of my face was really dark. Now you're not seeing that in this video because what I ended up doing was getting a Ring selfie light that I can link in the description below and put it on a tripod. And what I do during session is I put that just to the left of my computer to help illuminate the other side of my face and even things out. So it's those little aesthetic things that you're going to want to take note of when you do your test calls to make sure that everything looks comfortable and looks secure for your clients. So finding the right space was the first thing I did. Second thing I did was made sure I had a good internet connection. And that is why I have the router and the modem in my office. Now, this computer is wired to the router, so I know I'm going to get good internet speeds through that. But even if something happened to my computer and I have to use my tablet to do teletherapy, because I'm in the same room as my router, I know I'm going to get good speeds and things are going to be fine. I own my own router and my own modem, and I do that because I can easily get into the settings to make sure that the home network is secured, that my computer is firewalled away from the rest of the network, and those sorts of things. Now, right now, check with your states. A lot of those regulations are being suspended because we're having to ramp up so quickly, but it's definitely a consideration for you. And if you decide to continue doing some teletherapy from home after this crisis is over, it's going to be something you should consider. If you don't own your own modem and router, and you instead get it from your IT provider or your internet provider, you might want to get in touch with them and just ask them about what kind of security they have in place, and if you can really make sure that network is secure and HIPAA compliant in the future. So first thing, internet, make sure it's secure and fast. Second thing, my computer. Seems pretty self-explanatory, but I needed to make sure that it had a good webcam on it so that my clients can see me well. And I made sure that mine has a Bluetooth connection so that I can use my Bluetooth headset while I'm in session. Mine also has a pretty good wide angle lens so that my clients are not just looking at a really close up of my face, but they get a good view of the room, can see a little bit of my body language while we're in session. Okay. Now, like I said, my tablet is also here. It's here for two reasons. One, redundancy. Anything that I have in this room, I have a backup for. So whether it is my internet, I actually am lucky enough to have my old router and my old modem down in the basement. If something were to happen, I could get it back up and running pretty quickly. Maybe not as, the speeds may not be as good, but it'll be good enough to do teletherapy. If something were to happen to my computer, I can do teletherapy through the tablet. I also use my tablet during session to take notes. Again, tablet is secured away from the rest of the network so that people can't access it. Coffee, there's more coffee in my kitchen. There's always a redundancy there for coffee. So redundancy is important in lots of different ways. Normally my phone would be on the desk too, but I'm using that to record. And that's just if I need to, in a pinch, call a client to make sure that they're up and running for teletherapy, or for whatever reason, my phone is normally here as well. Some other things that I have learned while I've been at this, like I've mentioned these a couple times, but I started using the wireless earbuds because, as I mentioned, I have 4 kids who are going to be running around and doing their own thing while I'm doing teletherapy. So the earbuds do a couple things. One, when they're talking to me, I hear them through the earbuds. It's not sound that travels. It's not something the rest of my family is going to hear. Also, having the earbuds on helps block some of the noise for me as my family is doing their thing and I am less distracted. So got those. I also, again, redundancy, I have a wired set of earbuds nearby. If these were to run out of battery in the middle of session, I can quickly unplug them or plug my other ones in and get back up and running within seconds. So those are the biggest considerations that I took into mind when I set up the space. I did want to bring up a couple other little things that I've learned. One, I have a stool that I stuck under my desk. When I'm in the office, it's real easy for me to shift in my seat, to stretch a little bit, and during session to make myself comfortable. When I'm in front of the computer, I found that I can't move as much. I have to be much more stationary than I am during session. So I put a stool under my desk so that I can just put my feet up and stretch if I need to during session without it being much of an interruption. The other thing that I left on my desk on purpose is the Google Home. I did that for 2 reasons. One, a lot of us have these smart speakers now, and they're always listening to us. So you should check that when you're checking your surroundings and really consider if you want to keep it in your space, and if it is in your space, if you want to keep it on, right? So most of them have a button on them to mute them. You probably want to at least do that. The other thing you can do with a lot of the smart speakers is you can use them to play white noise. In the office, a lot of us have these white noise makers that sit outside our doors and keep the sound from traveling too much so that people who are in the hallway can't hear what's being said in session. So what I'm going to do is actually take my Google Home speaker and stick it in the hallway and say, Google, play white noise while I'm in session, so that, again, redundancy, even though I have the headphones on, it's another layer of confidentiality and security by having a little bit of white noise in the hallway. So those are a handful of the little tips and tricks that I've learned over my time doing some teletherapy from home. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. If you have your own ideas, please put those in the comments below. We're all having to be really flexible during this time. Like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have this space, but you might have found out a great way to set up your bedroom to do therapy or another place in your room to do therapy. I'm sure people have great ideas about how to use blue bed sheets as backgrounds, and then a lot of the programs have a way to use that as a blue screen and create custom backgrounds for yourself. So if you can't find a really calm, nurturing place in your room, in your house, that's also secure and has a good internet connection, maybe you want to construct something and put a custom background on it that is calming and relaxing as a way to set up a safe space. I'm sure some of you are doing things like that and have some great ideas. So please put those in the comments below so that we can all share with each other and get through this time as best we can. Thanks for listening. My next video is going to be about how our clients can set up their space at home to do teletherapy in a way that is relaxing and safe and secure for them. Thanks for listening. Feel free to pass this on. Talk to you again soon.